Just a totally regular map, a regular game of EU4. We're going to be just, seeing how things go. And
Oh my goodness!
so yeah, we're bringing back the map swaps in this one, boys. Greece has been taken and moved over to Korea, and Korea has been taken and moved over to Greece. Pretty good. It's really well done. Height map could use a little bit of work. There's a couple of missing pixels here and there, but overall, I think this is pretty well done. Shout out Jeju, now known as Atlantis, an island off the coast of Crete over here. Very good. Of course, they are keeping their religions with Confucian over in Korea and Orthodox over here in Greece. And of course, Greece is united like I had shown already. Their cultures are also brought over, though I guess it doesn't matter because they're both unique cultures in their region anyway, so it shouldn't have any gameplay implications. But for those who don't know, Korea starts with an absolute Giga Chad leader, like one of the best leaders in EU4. He's a little old, but overall, he's an absolute stud. All of the areas are kept the same, so I actually think this will probably hurt the Ottomans quite a bit. Obviously, they have a lot of this land in 1444 in vanilla EU4, but Byzantium has quite a bit as well, so obviously they're a lot weaker. But the Ottomans are going to get claims on land over here, and they won't be able to take it, so that will definitely hold them up at least a little bit. Oh, and shout out Bulgaria. Bulgaria is here too, I suppose. Aside from that, everything is as you would expect. Natives are gone, and we're going to see how things go. And of course, EU5 has been announced. I put out a video on that. If you want to check it out, I'll have it linked in the description. If you do have any questions about EU5 and my 50 plus hours that I got in, I actually ended up with about 65. Leave a comment down below and make sure that you let me know that you're asking about EU5. I might make a Q&A video. I see a lot of other content creators are doing it, and I would happily answer any questions that you guys might have about EU5. Either way, by now, you guys know the drill. There's only one way to find out what's going to happen in this game, and that is to turn it on up to speed 5 and unpause. Well, we're about 15 years in, and of course, Korea hasn't changed at all. Byzantium has been annexed, so, rip those guys. But the Ottomans are actually pushing, and they've annexed AQ in their entirety. We're definitely going to have to keep our eyes on them. The Mams have some land up here in Tekka or Isel or Shell or however that's pronounced. So yeah, we're actually seeing some pretty interesting dynamics. And I do think Korea may be just doing what they do in vanilla, just holding still, just going to develop their provinces up to, the sky. And that's pretty cool too, honestly. I like it when number go up. Greece, however, is not faring so well. Thessaly has been yoinked by the Chinese, and Jeonju has annexed some land over in Macedonia. So yeah, they're not feeling so hot. Meanwhile, we had a late start to the 100 Years' War, and of course, England is just chilling in the Isles and not doing anything, but they are consolidating the Irish. Don't get it twisted. The Irish are definitely going to be subjugated by the English. And at the same time, Timmy is absolutely getting bonked on the head by their former subjects. And yeah, we're going to see everybody breaking free here. Oh, wait, no, it's not all of their former subjects. It's just Khorasan, but the Ottomans are backing them up. So yeah, rip those guys. Oh, yo, and I almost missed this. Check this out. So Poland actually snaked Lithuania, bro. They didn't take the Jagiellonian, or however it's pronounced, and they actually kicked Lithuania's teeth in, taking a bunch of their land, and now they're at war with a ton of people. Of course, it's going to be multiple different wars, but yeah, they're getting ganged up on, and they're probably going to get absolutely dismantled if I had to guess. Yeah, they're literally in 3 separate wars. Oh my goodness. Polska not so gorum this time around by the looks of it, lads. Though it does look like we've got some Albanians marching into Kosovo. I have no opinions, just call them like I see them. Almost the turn of the 1500s. Korea still going strong. Absolutely zero border changes. Albania annexed Serbia. Hungary annexed everybody else over here, apparently. And the Ottomans are actually pushing very hard. I don't know if the Mams have taken like any land up here. I think they actually lost some land to the Ottomans. So yeah, despite not having, Greek lands, the Ottomans are going strong. And so is Poland, apparently. The long Polish snake, the kielbasa over here, is absolutely just beautiful borders. But they do have a pretty sizable border with the Ottomans, so hopefully that does not lead to too much tussling. Ah, who am I kidding? I want to see the smoke. Let's see the smoke. Pope Man is consolidating central Italy, and France is consolidating France. Castile has pushed down into the Maghreb, and Aragon has lost a little bit of land in northern Catalonia to the French. Sadly, Greece is basically gone. They ended up taking a little bit of land over here in the Japanese islands, but then Ming went in and basically kicked them off of everything that isn't an island. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to see Greece stick around for very long. Down in the Horn, the Ethiopians are gobbling everybody up, even pushing over into Yemen. So Ethiopia having a really good start. Congo duking it out for control of, the Congo, Central Africa. Mutapa actually eating Kilwa. I feel like you don't see that very often. I feel like Kilwa is usually the major power over here, so that's kind of cool. And India is still very much blob central, with Transoxiana eating up most of the Timmy, with Ajam over here eating a bit over here as well. We do have a bit of colonization going on, mostly just Castile over here in Cape Verde and Brazil, and the English down in the Cape of Good Hope. I don't know how they got down there, but they are down there. They don't have any islands that I can see, so that's a really, really far colonization. And I thought it was really strange. I saw that Poland had a bunch of lands in South Germany, and I'm like, oh, no way. They must have PU'd Bohemia or something. But no, it's actually way, way worse than that, or better, depending on who you ask. This is, without a doubt, the best version of the HRE I've ever seen, and I am 100% a fan of it. Talk about stealing the show from Korea, and yeah, Korea hasn't done anything either, so I guess this is a nice little diversion. Additionally, Pope Man randomly has one province over here from Provence's lands. Franconia has formed, so that's pretty cool. Sweden has annexed most of Jutland from Denmark. Shout out Kabu, the beautiful pink Kabu. And yeah, I don't think Ming is going to be around for much longer. Oirat absolutely just steamrolling through them. We're probably going to get that Shun popping out. I'd be surprised if we didn't. Meanwhile, Moria has popped out of Greece over here. Japan has united, not under Ashikaga, interestingly enough, and they've taken over Atlantis as well as Crete and the lands over here. And it looks like the rest of it's going to be going to this Haichi and possibly Jeonju. Hard to say. Haichi. Gesundheit. Looks like VJ may be the major Indian blob, though. Time will tell. India is it's pretty unpredictable. Meanwhile, the New World colonization continues. Castilian Brazil. We've got the English over here in Dominica. Dominica is a small island over here in the Windward, I think, and then Dominica. And then they've got Bermuda. Nobody up in Canada just yet. Well, the Reformation has arrived. Protestants are doing the long, skinny thing up in the north. Looks like they've pushed a bit over into Russia and kind of in the central portions of Germany, with Reformed down in the Swiss lands, and Anglican combating Reformed and Protestants over here. The British Isles is just an absolute mess. We've got Catholics, Anglicans. It's all there. Because, yeah, obviously Tech 10 has come and gone, and Great Britain has formed. Poland continues to be just the longest boy I've ever seen in my life, annexing all the land up here in the Baltic and pushing well into central Germany and all the way down into Austria proper, which is just like nuts. I don't know if I've ever seen the AI do this, and I'm really a big fan of it. I'm also a big fan of them beating up on the Ottomans right now, pushing into the Caucasus. It looks like they've got at least one province over here in Karaman. And yeah, Korea has also crossed the straits of the Dardanelles over here, and they have pushed into Anatolia themselves. And they've got some land. Wait a minute, they've even got names for these provinces? What in the world? That has to be from this mod, right? It has to be. Would be so funny if the Koreans took Constantinople. I would absolutely love that. Persia's also formed, and they are looking pretty good, actually. I think Ajam formed them and then conquered Transoxiana. So shout out Persia. Also shout out the Mams, pushing well over here and looking pretty good. But yeah, this is not them. This is Mutapa, who has also conquered land over here. So we've just got a lot of really big blobs forming. And speaking of big blobs forming, VJ has annexed Bengal, if you can believe that. Jaunpur is gone. And we've got like 4 kind of nations that I think can compete in India, though VJ is like the guy. Over in China here, we've got the Ming collapse and Oirat conquering a ton of land up here in the north, which is really, really cool. Japan has been pushed out for a minute there. Ashikaga actually owns some land over in Greece here, but they got pushed out. And I'm not really sure what this color is. Do you guys know who this is? If you would have guessed Hungary, then you are correct. I think the Byzantine flag is a bug with the province positions, but Hungary definitely does own this land. I have no idea how. They must have gotten a personal union or something. There may be an issue with the positions where like these provinces are still technically over here, but I don't really know how that would work because the Koreans took land over here. So yeah, that's weird. I did not expect that. Regardless, my worst nightmare has come and gone, and the French are in North America, as well as the Swedes. The Swedes are hopping around, and Spain has arrived in Mexico and conquered basically all of them. The British West Indies are well established. New Granada down here with Spanish Brazil, and the The Incans have been just gobbled up by the British, apparently, as well as the Spanish. So yeah, they just went straight for them. The Spanish are even down under over here in NZ, and nobody over on the mainland of Australia just yet. British going for the spice. That way they can never import it and put any on their food. They're still going to be eating their beans and toast. Don't you worry. Absolutism is upon us, and there is a lot of consolidation going on. It looks like Poland is continuing to grow, primarily over into the Caucasus and Anatolia, joining the British and the Koreans in their conquests of the Ottomans, though it does look like the Persians are getting in on that. But who knows for how long, because the Poles and the Persians are going at it. If you had Poland and Persia duking it out on your bingo card, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. Ming is actually doing a really good job in pushing to unite. Oirat doing a really good job in pushing to disunite. And then whatever this is, we've got rebels occupying Hungarian Far East, Southeast Asia, Lanshang and Khmer duking it out, with a Brunei getting over into Sumatra, taking a ton of land over there. Meanwhile, over on Sulawesi, it is all the bone zone. Of course, the Spanish have ended up colonizing down under, and VJ has conquered the majority of the Indian subcontinent. Mams are definitely in decline, with the Ottomans migrating down there, and it looks like the Koreans or the French, one of the two, beating up on them. Oh, it's actually neither of them. It's air. It's a sub-Saharan African kingdom beating up on them. So there you go. Congo doing good, but I think Mutapa steals the show in Africa. They're just massive. The Horn, most of Madagascar, although the British have taken some of them. And then obviously they've got all their land down here in their kind of core territory. Meanwhile, the Swedes and the Spanish are competing with the British for the Cape of Good Hope. South America, a little bit of yellow, but a lot of red. Actually, surprisingly large amount of red. The left coast getting colonized by the Spanish, with New Spain basically just massive and untouchable. Though Swedish Mexico up here in Texas is looking pretty good. British Louisiana, and then the 13 colonies, New Sweden, and then the French continue their colonization over here in Newfoundland, as well as over down into Montreal. And they look like they're also going to be setting up their own 13 colonies, with New Sweden tucked over there. 200 years in, Spain is on top, with Poland right behind them, Great Britain behind them, France with quite a bit less development than Spain in the number 4 spot, Persia rising up into the 5th, Hungary with their Far East possessions in the 6th slot, VJ, Indian nation, in the 7th, and Korea, believe it or not, in the Great Powers, though, yeah, way less than half the development of VJ. So top 8, bit of a discrepancy between 7 and 8, but hey, we're seeing both of our boys who own the land that is swapped in the top 8, so that is cool with me. We are in revolution, viva la revolution, with the French absolutely collapsing, with a British back in Normandy, the Spanish in Gascony, and as well as down in Toulouse, and the Dutch over here in Picardy, because the Netherlands have formed, and it looks like they're beating up on the Swedes alongside their friends of the Polish, who are absolutely massive. Though Poland, Persia, and VJ are all absolutely massive. Very funny to see the Ottomans essentially exiled to Egypt. The Knights have some land over here in Tripoli. Good old Korea hanging out and still not growing, but, you know, not shrinking. Venice absolutely dominating northern Italy, with Strasbourg dominating western Germany. But don't worry, friends, Austria is still here. They just don't even own Vienna anymore. The Swedes have colonized much of sub-Saharan Africa, with the French and the Norwegians getting in on it. And Holland with their capital in Fernando. Very cool. China is significantly more messy than it was before. Shout out Zungar. But the Hungarian portions, I don't think have changed a single province since we last looked. What about Wu, the nation so nice that they named it thrice. And the colonial game is basically all but finished. It might actually be finished. Looks like maybe the Spanish took a little bit of land from the British up in the north, but for the most part, South America is basically split 50-50, I would say. North America is very messy, though. It's basically all the west is going to be Spanish, and then the east is just completely split. Basically, we have the British, the Swedes, and the French all just like gunning for it. Oh, and of course we have French Greenland and British Iceland. And of course, Britannia rules the waves, with Poland the number 1 great power by a decent amount. Britain in number 2, Spain in number 3, VJ in 4. 5th is Hungary, which you love to see. Persia in the 6th, Venice in the 7th in that northern Italy spot, and Korea still rounding out the top 8. Not nearly as much of a drop between the bottom 4 or so, so that is pretty cool to see. And here we have it, 1821. And I'm very happy to say that Korea not only survived, but thrived here on the Korean peninsula south of Hungary, even pushing over into southern Italy, a bit over here in Albania, and into Anatolia, which is just chef's kiss. But it's really hard to think who stole the show more, Poland, Persia, or VJ, because Poland reaching all the way from basically the Netherlands, Frisia, all the way over to the Pacific Ocean is really cool. Like I'm a genuinely huge fan of that. But at the same time, this Persia is just like massive. Horn of Africa up to Alexandria, all the way over to like Karakoram. Like that is a Persia right there. And then of course you've got VJ, who has most all of India, most all of Indochina, most all of China proper, and they probably would keep going if we let them. They even conquered a bunch of land over here in Indonesia. It's just like, absolutely gorgeous. Utapa collapsed with the East African Company from Britain, conquering much of that, and South Africa continued to basically be as divided as it was last time we looked. Shout out Norway over here with their one province minor capital in the western portion of South Africa. And yeah, Spain is just impressive. Very impressive. So is the Pope, honestly. Venice is 2 provinces after being the major power. They were like the number 7 great power last time we looked. Oh, and Lubeck conquered northern France because of course they did. But how about that Strasbourg? They're, I believe, a 1 province minor in 1444. Either that or 2 provinces over here in Mulhouse. No, actually, I think they are 1 province minor because Mulhouse is an independent nation. So that's pretty dope. Yeah, I actually thought that this was Norway, but it's actually Lubeck. So Sweden and Lubeck having disgusting border gore is hilarious. And Lithuania getting pushed out of Lithuania and into like Belarus and Russia. That's pretty good. And then there's France, occupied with their capital over here in Eriksfjord. So that's the thing. Lost all their colonies to the British for the most part, who conquer much of the eastern portion of the US, with Sweden taking the rest. And then basically everything looks the same as it did before in the western portions of North America as well as in South America. So nothing really to add to that. Religiously, it's very Catholic. It's actually surprisingly very Catholic. Of course, Sweden is still Protestant, but I think they are the only one. Ragusa over here is the only Reformed nation. Very funny. And then there's Anglican in the British Isles. Iceland is independent, so they are an Anglican nation separate from the United Kingdom, as is their colonial subjects. Look at this religious melting pot in South Africa. Really cool to see so much conversion though. Hindu just sweeping across the southern portion of the Asian continent. Catholic all the way from sea to shining sea. And I don't think there's really any Sunni Islam left outside of Indonesia. It's all Shia. Shia is very much a minority religion as opposed to the Sunni sect of Islam in the real world. So that's pretty interesting. Happy to say that the Koreans have settled in Anatolia. And over in the New World, we've got a lot of English, a little bit of Turkish, actually. So that's an interesting one. And then Platinian making out the Brazilians as well as the Grenadans. North, it's mostly Mexican and Castilian, but lots of Swedes and the Americans, of course, hanging out with the Quebecois and some French. So that is a nice little bit of variety. I do love kind of like that soft divide line right down the middle of the American continent. Pretty good to see. If you can believe it, Venice is 100 development, almost 99 with 88 manpower dev. That's something. Just look how much development is over here. These are all the coal provinces, and Strasbourg has 71, 67, 67, and 66, all owned by one nation. Is insane. Of course, we've got Lubeck over here with more coal. Korea, Japan, Great Britain. Just crazy to see how many provinces have 50 plus development or near about 50. Like, look at that. High 40s, and we're still scrolling. Mid 40s, still scrolling, still scrolling, still scrolling. First page, and it's still 40. That's nuts. So what happens when you flip Korea with Greece? Well, a lot, I suppose. Apparently Hungary annexes Greece for some reason, and Korea annexes some land from the Ottomans. One of the best timelines in my opinion. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, leave a comment if you had a question about EU5. I would love to take some time to make a Q&A video, and I'll see you in the next one.